am calling to order the Budget and Finance meeting at 3:01 p.m. on Friday, October 8th. And here we go. So our first order of business today is, and I actually took that down, so I don't have it in front of me. There it is our budget for the 21-22 school year, and it is both information and action will be required. So Angela, it's to you.
Yes. So, we have the preliminary budget that I sent in the documents. It talks about the total revenue limit as proposed, and that's kind of like as a point in time for what we know. When I was assembling everything, and like I said, everything changes. So now we've got updated revenue limit worksheets too, which are not incorporated, but would be a part of our final budget. So for the purpose of like the budget hearing and the approving the preliminary budget, we have the $57 million for the revenue limit. And then, we have the total expenditures that are listed of $69,987,771. And that's an increase, over last year, mainly due to the COVID expenses. And we also give just the standard WERC cost of living increase to all of the employment groups. So that's included in that. Overall, especially due to the referendum, our use of fund balance will be much lower. So that is a good thing. So, and, I guess just to help you all, because you're all new to the committee and just, Lisa's been a part of this too, but it's just one of those things where we move through the process of approving the, going through the approval process for the preliminary budget. But then next Friday, October 15th, is the day that we get the final 3 pieces for our revenue limit worksheet. And so I can show you what I have. I'll share my screen real quickly and put this on here. And let me know if you can see an Excel spreadsheet that comes up here. Can you see that on the screen right now?
Yeah, not very big though.
Yeah, and I'm not going to be able to increase the size of it, but revenue limit worksheets can be downloaded from the DPI website, and I can share the final one with the committee when we get through it. But the pieces that we're waiting to know for next Friday would be just basically our certification of general aid, and then our voucher deduction, which increases our revenue cap, and then the private school aid. So those things are expenses that are in the budget, and they increase our cap, but they're kind of like an in and an out, but they help us increase and we get aided on it. So that's one important factor. So actually with this revenue limit worksheet, when we realized, or when I, learned they updated on the 7th of October, it increased because we received another additional open enrollment for uncounted pupils exemption amount. So that increased it by $550,000 roughly. And then also the other most recent item is the estimate of equalized value was just a little bit lower. The change is about $357,000 less than we had estimated. So, that just flexes it a little bit. And actually what it did is it put our levy will be a little higher. Right now it's, it was 781 is what you have to remember from this last year, but then it will be going, originally we thought it could be as low as like $7.06, but as these pieces trickle in, it could be, I think we're still going to save at least 40 cents on the mill rate for sure per thousand, but it's creeping up closer to $7.30 right now. Oh. But the thing is so that's a little higher than we estimated. But the 712 is what will be reflected in the documents that we have for the preliminary budget, if that makes sense, because that's what we have entered into the system right now at this point. So, and I can share that at the budget hearing too, but that's just kind of the point in time. We always finalize the levy at that second meeting in October. So, in essence, just to, the the main action that we need today is to have approval of the preliminary budget to move forward and present to the community and for board approval on Tuesday, October 12th.
Hey, Angela, or before anybody makes a motion, Angela, did you, I guess the thing that I was asking about any of the mandate stuff being tied to any budgetary items, was there any information that you were able to draft on that?
No, not. Do you mean just like add into the budget materials, or to?
Do we have any mandates tied to masking, CDC, COVID, anything in relation to the budget at all? That we have to do in order to get money from certain entities?
No. Yes and no. So like with the ESSER 3 funds, and we, haven't claimed any of them yet. You always have to spend and then claim. So we just have to share a plan, but it doesn't say that you have to do XYZ activities. Like districts and local, we're able, as every district handles it a little differently, approach it from their own standpoint. So it's not like if you don't do this, you don't get money. We do have to have a plan and work with the community. And so that's going to be coming up in fall. DPI is just announcing information on that. So that's every district's going to be working on that and working to, create a formal plan of how they're using the money and share that, with the community. And Mark and I have talked about the beginning steps to that. So, so it's not like a certain, if you don't do these two things, you're not going to get any money. One other thing that we, the biggest thing that we are tied to is we have to spend 20% on, working to close the achievement gap. So, the biggest thing that we've been doing so far already is working to, increase staffing and where there are needs to help, just sort of facilitate getting more people closer to the students and help improve achievement where students, need the assistance for their learning. So.
Okay, thank you. I know it sounds like a weird question at this point in time in the budget process, but at the same time, you hear all these weird things out there. So I guess it's more of a trust but verify type aspect. And so that's what I just wanted to, make sure that, I figured that was the case, but wanted to verify. Yeah. Thanks.
Questions anytime, not a problem. So yeah, they leave a lot of that up to local control, just because there is, just every community has its own kind of feel and approach, as we've seen around our area as well. So thank you.
All right. Any more questions for Angela before we move forward with action? No? Okay, then I'm hoping for a motion to move the proposed budget forward to the greater board.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, guys. All right. Our second part is our fund balance designation, which we will get more information from Angela.
Yes. Included in the attachment in board book was kind of an overview of several projects that we have that we'd like to propose to move forward with. And just sort of the use of fund balance is something that always should be brought in front of the board and approved as, just a best practice. You mainly run off of your revenues and expenditure budgets, but then if you plan to go over, have your expenditures exceed your revenues, you need to, have board approval for that. So, and part of this, like the total amount that we would use of fund balance is in flux because of these hanging out variables that we're waiting for. So, so that has a pretty large impact on things. So, the two smaller items, the seeds and the Infinite Campus registration are much, lower ticket items, but very, very important. All three are huge projects, which would be a benefit to our whole entire district. From, parents would value or see value from this, from the registration and updating of contact information, be moved to all being electronic eventually. So it's something we would implement over the next 1 to 2 years. It wouldn't be all of a sudden next week we flip the switch. And then the special education, the SEEDS electronic data system, Joanne Metzen has talked to me about this in their discussions for planning for it and assist, especially like newer special education teachers with entering data and being able to, just have more support through the process of entering IEP information, as I understand it. And it's just a great tool, and it helps make sure that we're meeting federal laws and compliance. And, several districts also use this program. So, and then the last one, the biggie, is with Skyward, the human resources and financial database. That is going to be like the main purchase of that would be on this year. So that it's $239,000 for the contract with them and start the process. And then there's the hosting fees as well. And sort of what happens with this is you have your initial cost for implementation and the hosting. They establish your database, and we would start training and start looking at our data that's in our current database and prepare it, and then just work towards implementation. And our go live, if this is approved, would be January of 2023. And I added in some additional costs for training of staff. In talking to our technology department, they felt that it'd be really neat or really necessary and critical. And I agree with this as well. I did this when I was in Sheboygan, served as a trainer. So then you have go-to people in your buildings that we would train, and they would sort of be boots on the ground and help assist people. That's mainly because like all of the timekeeping for hourly staff, time off for everyone when they enter time off would be impacted by this. So we would need support. So that's why I added that in there. And then one of the last pieces in there, I mentioned, and I apologize, I left something out here. The $44,000 I put in there is dual database costs over a transition period. And that should have been the description under the fourth bullet point. I apologize, I'm just seeing that right now, under maintenance of old database. So we would really want to just keep, what we would do is keep Alio, our current system, live and hosted so we could access information from it at the year after the transition. Very typical. Appleton, West Appear, two districts that I've consulted with for advice on, to prep and plan for such a transition, so that they paid for one extra year, just in case you lose all of your financial data. If something goes wrong, you can go back and you can look. So it's really it is a cost, but it's really a safeguard, and it'd be advisable that we would include that in our estimate. So try to encompass the whole project in there so that we're just making sure all of our bases are covered.
I just want to clarify too with going to Skyward. This is to remind you guys that this will also be so that we don't have to have our payroll cards done physically any longer, correct?
It'll all be
that's a big one. Yeah, because we're really out of date on that. And also we'll be able to share state information with the state. We can just pull information off and have it automatically go to state, where Alio does not allow us to do that right now. So those are two of the key things that I remember from a while ago that are important about using Skyward. And I know it's a really friendly system. I've used it as a substitute teacher in other districts, not the payroll end of things, but as the teaching part of things. And it's very, very user friendly. And I'm actually excited our district is moving forward to Skyward. So plus they're local. They're out of Stevens Point. Angela and I have talked about that before. Not that that has any bearing on whether we pass this or not, but just a note. So does anyone have any questions for Angela right now? No? Okay, so I think then we're ready to move forward. If anyone would like to make a motion to, again, pass this on to the full board, that we would bring over fund balance for Skyward. And I think we're just doing Skyward right now, right?
Yeah, we can take them I think let's do, right, with like an approval of the use of fund balance for the projects, and then just Skyward individually, if you don't mind.
Okay, so let's do that. So our first is an action to use approval for fund balance. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you, guys. And then secondly, since we already discussed Skyward, unless someone has more questions for Angela, is to use Skyward and that fund balance towards Skyward, because that is a major purchase. So do we have that motion? Okay.
Motion.
I'll second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you, guys. All right. Do you need any more from us, Angela?
And then I can think of, just going to mention, and as a side note that I'll get some future meetings on the calendar. I was looking at maybe doing like the first Wednesday of each month, so we be prepped before each board meeting. Is that okay with the group, or?
What was it? First Wednesday?
Yeah, I'm thinking that's kind of the pattern semi-pattern we were using as a model. I'll just send out an invite, and then was that working all right for everyone?
Yeah.
Generally, it is. I might be gone that first Wednesday in November. I actually think, I'm not sure that's going to work. So if you could send out maybe some dates and let's see if they work for everybody. Generally, I would think that would be okay, but I think it's just an anomaly for me.
Well,
Hey, as I was going through Google Calendar, Angela, I thought that there was a whole bunch that were already out there. Is it the generic ones?
I thought I pushed them out, and then I didn't know if there was an issue. So I can double check. If anything, we could cancel November because our heavy lifting, this budget is obviously the biggest piece. And once we get, this will be our last committee meeting before we have the formal budget is adopted, unless, Mark, I'll ask Mark if he recommends we have another just checkpoint meeting before then. So that's where, otherwise we could even just skip the November one and then meet in December too. That would be a possibility as well. So.
That would be okay with me.
It'd be fine with me too, unless somebody comes up with a reason to meet, I guess. If, Lisa or Colin or Angela, if you guys want us to meet, we can always do that. But for now, let's table it. Colin, do you have anything that you'd like to meet for in November specifically?
Do I? No, I have nothing that I'm eyeballing at the time.
Okay. Well, if you guys come up with something, let me or Angela know, and we'll create a meeting. Otherwise, let's just skip it. We don't need more on our plates if we don't have to, right? We're all pretty busy people. So
with that,
for now, let's table November and leave it at that. Sound okay?
Sounds good.
All right. Sounds great. You guys, thanks for showing up, and we'll see you.
Would you take a motion? Sorry. Should we take a motion to adjourn?
Adjourn. Yeah, that's a good idea. I need a motion to adjourn, please.
I'll second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Take care, you guys.
See you
next time around.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Yep.
See you then.
Bye-bye.